Dum dee diddle hi dum do, he lie dum dee diddle hi dum do, he lie dum dee diddle hi dum do, he hiddle 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 hi dum do. Where are we today, boys and girls?
Dollar!
Dollar! And what place in Dollar are we coming to see specifically?
Dollar Academy!
Dollar Academy, and that's why we've come to this street here, which is called
Academy PL.
Place. It means PL. So now we've just had a guided tour here, haven't we?
Yeah.
Now, what was our guide telling us this house right here was? Who lives here? Can we remember?
The rector?
Oh, you're close, not the rector. The assistant. I said, well done, Tom. The assistant rector. You were listening very carefully. Now, the house is on this side. Who lives in them?
Oh, hey,
The boys! Well done, Justin. You all were listening. I thought you were all just mucking about, but you were all listening. And then this house on this side.
That's on next house. No.
Whose house is this one here?
No, that's the rector's.
That's the rector's house. Well done, Tom. And through those gates down there, off in the distance, what is that building?
It's Dollar Academy.
That is Dollar Academy. It certainly is. Now, what do you guys think of this street? Is it an old one or a pretty new one?
It's the road, it's state otherwise.
Right, let's all talk one at a time. So, William, why don't you tell us what you think it is?
According to the road, it's saying otherwise because they wouldn't build roads like this anymore. As you can see, our road had lots of stones in it.
Well, look at the side here. What's this at the side of the street? What are these called?
Gravel?
No, this isn't gravel. What are these blocks called? What do we call them? Well, I think they're more cobbles. Is that not what they are?
Yeah.
And back in the olden days, before we had this tarmac stuff, this is what all the streets used to be made of, weren't they? Cobble. Yes. And these are the dormitories. That's right, William. So, what do we know about Dollar Academy? When do you think it was built?
1818.
1818. You're pretty close. I think you're right, William, actually.
Yeah.
No, you are right. Sorry, I was the one that wasn't listening during the tour. And how was it built? What did they use to build it?
Sandstone.
Well, we're not talking about the actual materials. I'm talking about where did they get the money from? Who gave them the money?
I know how much.
How much was it? Tell us how much it was.
19,000.
90. That's right, Tom. Well done. But in today's money, so that was back in the 1700s, how much would £90,000 be worth in today's money?
Is about 10 times.
I think you're maybe about right, William. The estimate's probably between about 3 to 6 or possibly more £1 million that built this. Now, on the tour, or in our last video about Dollar, what part of Dollar did we talk about? The old part or the new part?
Old part?
The old part. And this part, even though it was built in 1818, this is the
New part.
the new part. So even though it's over 200 years old, this is the new part, believe it or not, isn't it?
Spectacular.
It really is. I mean, look at the design. Can anyone remember the name of the man who was the architect? There was a lady that could remember it.
Mayfair.
Is it Mayfair?
No.
I think it was
Yeah,
Mayfair.
yeah, Mayfair.
Or of this name very similar, wasn't it? Now, there was something that happened here. What? Something disastrous. Oh, what year, William?
The mid-1960s.
The 1960s. And what happened to this magnificent building?
The insides were rotted out.
A gigantic fire, Chloe, that's right. And what were we learning about? What was the man telling us about that was quite special? So how many flights, how many stories does this look like it has with the windows?
2.
It looks like it's got 2, but how many does it actually? 3, that's right, Tom. These guys have been listening really, really well. Now, if we have a little look at the top here, whose name do we see? John McNabb, and that was the man who was said to have been involved in the slave trade and had made his money transporting all sorts of different goods around the world for the empire, didn't he? So yeah, 1818, then we've got a lovely flagpole up above it as well, don't we?
What was that used for?
I think that's used for putting flags up, possibly.
But then why are they not using it anymore?
Well, maybe they've not got a flag up just now. Now, what is this other thing over here that we were...
194.
194, yeah, 1914, that's right, Justin.
Said, if I can remember, 1939 in memory 1945.
That's right, and what happened between 1939 and 1945? Does anyone know?
No.
What?
The Second World War.
The Second World War, William. So here we have is a monument to the men who died in the First World War, and the Second World War, and then we have this beautiful statue at the top. Now, it's a war memorial, and the man was telling us, why does this person look the way he does up there?
It's because the architect who built this, her younger brother died while fighting in the war.
He died while fighting on the war, and this statue is said to have been modelled after him. Now, there is one other statue, war memorial statue in Scotland, in Glasgow, where the statue is holding a weapon. But in the rest of them, what don't they have? A weapon. Because they thought it was rather uncouth to include that in a memorial to all the men who had died fighting in the war.
Then why did they include them on just two of them?
Well, only on one, so that's a good question. So there we can see there's a commemoration on this side to our glorious dead, 1914 to 1918. And there'll be lots of names there that will be familiar to even us today, I would think. Right, shall we go up and have a look at the building next door, because it's got a name the same as some of our friends. Can we remember what that name is? No, come up here and let's have a wee look. So there's a street here that's got the same name as well. Can you remember yet? What's James's and George's surname?
Oh, it's like June.
Oh, you're close. Starts with a D. It starts with a D. Dewar. Ah, and Dewar is a very famous name in Dollar. So this building right ahead of us is the
Dewar House.
The Dewar building. That's right. And there was a very famous man named Dewar, and he invented something called the thermos flask. Do you know what a thermos flask is?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, right, Chloe, you tell us about a thermos flask.
Basically, it's a type of flask which keeps things hot or cold.
Yes, that's right. So when you go off to your work, you put your tea or your soup into the flask, and when it comes to lunchtime, what have you got?
A nice hot soup.
Well done, Tom. Excellent. So let's just have a look. Now this building here, can we remember what this building is? Now, is this one a new one or an old one, Justin?
New one.
A very new one, isn't it? And what do they do in here? Can we remember?
Oh, these are the arts.
Arts and paintings. Very well done. Now, Justin and Catherine, do you know someone who might have worked here in the art department at one point?
My mum.
Your mum? Yeah, because I actually know quite a few pupils who were taught by your mum, weren't they?
Yeah.
And she is one of the most fantastic artists we all know, isn't she, Chloe? How good an art teacher is Mariel?
Really good.
Really good, isn't
And
she?
then party coming on Tuesday. Nan.
So Nan's having a party on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And oh, can we say how old she'll be on camera, or would she not like that?
80.
Don't say it out loud! My word, these cheeky little children we have. Right, so shall we just take another little walk up here and have a look at the rest of the buildings before we say goodbye?
Yeah.
Now, there's one other...
That is.
I don't know what that one is. What do you think that one might be, Justin?
He didn't say it.
He didn't tell us on the tour. What do you think it might be?
I don't know, some sort of library.
I think, yeah, I think it might be a sort of library, sciencey area. That's certainly what it looks like to me.
It smells like a coffee shop.
It could be a coffee shop, but
It does actually.
It does. Well, I think that might be like a teacher's office where they have their cups of tea and things, don't you?
Yeah, maybe.
I think so too, Catherine. Now, we were told on this tour, when we look over here, all this part over here, was this part of the academy before?
No.
No, what was that over there before?
Can't mind.
I think he told us it was maybe like a garden area, like an allotment where people
Yeah.
grew their food and stuff.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, so let's come up because the wall up here was part of the old, the boundary. Oh, let's have a look at the tree. Justin, well spotted. Now, we see a lot of these old trees. Chloe, let's see if we can find anything interesting. Now, look at this side, right?
Why does it have a green rope?
That's a good question, Tom. Now, look at this side. Is there lots of moss on here?
No.
Right, come round this side. And is there lots of moss on this side?
Yes.
Now, why do you think that might be? What way is the tree facing when it's facing this way?
This one's facing the sun.
Well, almost sort of. What direction is that? North or south?
So, south.
Other one, Tom. Give it a go. North, well done. And the other side that's not got any moss on it is facing?
North.
South. So we'll get there, Tom. We'll get there.
And Mum fell on the tree.
What's that? What can you see down there, Chloe? Is this a root
A
structure?
living root.
Oh wow, let's have a little look at this.
Go
Oh,
on,
why
have
is it all white? What is that? Is that a fungus or something?
I don't know.
Is it?
Is that a fungus?
What is it, Justin?
192.
192. 1982. Has someone inscribed? Oh, 192. Oh, so
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
I wonder what that means. I'm sure it has some significance to someone. I do like the bark of this tree though. Look at it. It's all lumpy and bumpy.
And woodlice could hide.
I mean, imagine what could be living in this tree.
Let's just take a closer look at this.
I mean, squirrels maybe up at the top.
I think you're right, Tom. I think this is a very squirrely tree if ever I saw one. Wait a minute. What about this tree over here? Look at this. This one looks like it's twisting round while it's growing.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything like
It
that?
looks like it's been cut off up there.
It has been, yeah. And why do you think they cut that off there?
Maybe it was blocking too much sun.
Well, do you know what I think? See when it comes out and it leans too far and it's really heavy, what might happen? If there's a storm,
It might.
it might come down. So to sort of save the tree and save anyone getting hurt, they maybe chopped that down, didn't they? Now, can you see, look at this, Chloe, is it not just like a twister, this? I think that's incredibly interesting. What about you guys?
That's like sort of diagonal.
Yeah, it's like diagonal. Usually we think trees just grow straight up, don't we? But look at that.
One of my dad's my dad grew trees before I was born.
Did he?
Like a big patch.
Right.
And one of his trees are like a bit like this, like twisty.
Oh, so it's grown up and it's went all gnarly and twisty and
Like a
stuff.
bit like this, yeah.
Wonderful. That's absolutely amazing, Tom.
Want to know what this tree actually is?
Oh, what is this tree actually?
A combination of 4 silver oaks.
A combination of 4 silver oaks, you think? So this isn't just one tree. This is a combination of a number of them. I think you might be right. Look at this. Look here, because we've got a big sort of lumpy tree there.
This is definitely not beech.
Is it not? Definitely not. And then we've got another one coming out there. I think you might be right.
It might be chestnut.
You think it might be a chestnut tree?
Yeah, maybe.
Look,
Right, well, let's take a leaf. Let's just have a right
this is a
close look.
chestnut leaf. It's incredibly distinctive.
Is it? They're very beautiful as well, aren't they?
Yes. So it's definitely a chestnut.
Oh, Justin, is that you got some Poohsticks for the bridge? Yeah. Let me see these. Now, on our tour, our guide was telling us that he came from the village where the man who wrote the book about Winnie the Pooh came from, and that he lived in the village where Poohsticks was invented. How amazing is that? Right, I think we should go and race some sticks down by the bridge, don't you guys?
Yeah.
Shall we say goodbye, boys and girls?
Bye!